Hello and welcome back to AC's Make and Repair. Today on the channel I'm going to show you how to do a simple service on a 4-stroke lawnmower. We're going to do a simple oil change, pretty well a toolless oil change at that. Also we're going to inspect the spark plug, replace if necessary, adjust the gap if necessary. Also clean and inspect the air filter as well, replace if necessary. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do 2 Hondas today. I'll show you on this one, but I'll show you on various other motors too, some of the things that are involved. Because air filters, there's so many different variations. But as for an oil change side of it, you could do it this way on most push mowers today. Come along with me, let's get into it. The first thing I did was I warmed the motors up to operating temperature. Then I placed some plastic bag, a thicker plastic bag of that, under the cap on the fuel tank. This prevents spilling when I tip the motor sideways to drain the oil. Next, I unscrewed the dipstick from the side of the motor. This is where I'll be pouring the old oil out of. This model hasn't got a drain plug, so you either have to evacuate it with an extractor pump or tip it sideways into a drain pan. I chose to tip it sideways in a drain pan. I've got it elevated on a bench to show you how to do it. Once I drained the oil totally, I sat the mower back on 4 wheels. Next is the filling stage. I put a funnel in the dipstick hole and I filled the container with a little bit more than the desired amount that I needed according to my owner's manual. Then I proceeded to fill it slowly through the funnel. If you fill it too fast, it can bubble up and overflow. Take your time filling, pausing occasionally to let the oil settle. Then towards the end of your amount, before you empty your container, start checking with the dipstick the oil level. I recheck regularly, as sometimes oil wells up in the dipstick tube and gives a false reading on the dipstick. So don't be scared to check it several times, and once you get it right, you can screw your dipstick in. I got it right first time around this time. Amazing. Just take your time at the end so you don't overfill. I then unscrewed and took the plastic out from underneath the fuel tank cap. Next it was time to check the spark plug. I removed the spark plug cap and then cleaned around the base of the spark plug with a bit of compressed air. You can clean it some other way with a brush even. Undid the spark plug with the correct size socket. Once I removed the spark plug, I inspected it and I cleaned some minor carbon off the end with a wire brush. I also cleaned down between the insulator that goes around the centre electrode and the thread with a piece of wire. And then I lastly checked the gap. This plug was in pretty good condition still, so I continued to use it in this mower. Next I refitted the plug to the mower, tightening it firmly but not over tightening it. After tightening, I put the plug cap back on. Now it's time to check the air filter. I unclipped the outer cover. Inside the outer cover is a pre-cleaner. I removed it out, put it to the side. Then I took the element out. It was relatively clean, as the pre-cleaner cleaned most of the dirt and muck out first. I then took it and lightly blew it from the clean side out, not from the dirty side in, from the clean side out lightly with the compressor. Sometimes you can just tap it on the dirty side to get the worst of it out. I then cleaned the pre-filter and replaced both, clipping the cover back on securely. Replacement of these items is opposite of removal, so take note on how you remove them. I then gave it a test run, and I will go on to check the oil once again after it's settled, after I've turned it off, and top up if necessary. Now it's time for the next mower. I'll fast forward through this. It's the same process as the other one, except I do this one on the ground to show you what it's like to do on the ground. It's time to do the air filter. This is a different air filter style to the last one. I inspected it and decided to replace it. I'd already bought a new one for it. I cleaned the housing out, replaced it with a new one. It was a really tight fit. Now it's time to do the spark plug. I removed the spark plug, inspected it, and decided to replace it with a new one. I fitted the new one, tightening it firmly, and I checked the oil again and gave it a test run. This is another style of air filter housing. You simply unscrew the top bolt, remove the top cover, and usually there's a foam filter in there. The filter in this one had it. This is off an old motor. You replace the filter and you put the top housing back on and screw it down. This is it on a motor. This is another air filter housing cover. It's unscrewed by the screw at the top. It has the same type of filter as the first type of Honda filter I showed you that I did the first service on. It has a pre-filter also behind the cover. This is another style of dipstick tube. You can fill and drain through this tube. This is on a Briggs & Stratton motor. Just a quick note on dipsticks. On Briggs & Stratton, Usually you have to fit them to their full depth to get a correct reading. On some other mowers, like the Honda, you don't have to fit them fully. You can just dip them in without screwing them fully in. On the type of oil you use, I strongly recommend you look at your user manual, and it'll have a graph similar to this, or a chart similar to this, telling you what sort of oil and what grade of oil to use in your climate and your area. Also consult your maintenance schedule. This will tell you how often you should do your maintenance on your mower. In your mower manual, you will have a specification chart. This will tell you your oil quantities and your spark plug gap. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and useful. It is quite an easy thing to do. It doesn't take very long. To do a basic oil change may only take 5 minutes, but to do a full service may take up to 20. Be careful to drain your oil properly and completely before you refill. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.